The boys are back. It's the No BS Golf Show. We missed Mr. Money Mills last week, but Byron, the model maniac, was able to step in and deliver as well. But the boys are kind of excited because we hit a banger. We hit a banger. It's funny. Our separate communities both got to eat, and we didn't talk about it. We didn't do a show together, yet we both landed on Viktor Hovland. He gets the job done at Valspar. Money Mills, how's it going, my friend?
Yeah, I'm thrilled because not only did we both hit Hovland, but we also hit first round leader, right? Like
Yeah,
obviously it
dude.
was a split, like 20%. Nobody loves that, but I know you double dipped, so you got 40% of the 100%. I had Bridgman, which honestly was a bit of a blessing with Mitchell being at -6 through 16
Yep.
holes, and then bogey to finish. And it's kind of crazy that -11 won, given he was -6 through 16 holes on day one.
Dude, it was so beautiful that first round leader because I had given up. So I was watching the tournament, but as you know, I was in Atlantic City. I'd given up. And so I stopped watching and I was like, we'll go play blackjack and watch some of the tournament. And then I get a text message that says, Brad, you freaking hate this market, don't you? I was like, yeah, bro, it's so stupid. Keith Mitchell, when I bet on him, turns into freaking sand and rubble. When I don't bet on him, he's the best golfer in the world. They're like, no, no, no. You're going to hit both, bro. And I was like, what? It was really nice too. I was really excited about the Viktor Hovland thing because it was one of those situations where I did a lot of digging and a lot of investigating and reading quotes and all of this. And at the end of the day, it just came down to two simple things. Number one, what if there was no weather advantage? Who had a big odds jump that could actually go out there and ball? And then that stupid quote about him figuring out something or feeling like he found something that led me to the water. I couldn't believe both of those combined were 80-1, and he actually got the job done. I was really excited. I celebrated with some cocktails. I made that one worth it.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I read nothing. But when I saw that Viktor Hovland was anywhere between plus 8,000, plus 6,000, depending on the book, I was like, I don't care if he goes out there
Yeah.
and misses the cut like he did the previous 3 weeks. I said, you're not gonna get a number like that. Now the rest of the year. Now that he's won, he's gonna
Yep.
be back to being respected. So I saw that number, and he was one of the first ones I threw on my slate for sure.
Yeah, that was really nice. Good tournament. But now we're going to move over to the Houston Open. And I actually didn't handicap this tournament last year. So for me, it was starting from scratch. I went ahead, I built a model for the first time. There's a lot of stickiness or things that you could talk about at this course. But before we get into that, let's just go over the course stats, right? Played at Memorial Park in Houston, Texas, 7,475 yards, par 70. Bermuda grass overseed there. Green size, 7,000, 28 acres of fairway, 120 of rough, 21 bunkers. Not a ton of bunkers here, not a ton of greenside bunkers. Only two water hazards, only four holes with water hazards in play. Basically, I think there's a bunch of different ways that guys can win this tournament. If you look at Steven Yeager, he just freaking bombed it and played really well around the greens, and his putter got hot. When I was building up my model, I just kind of was like, I want guys who are going to be good around the greens. I want guys who are good on par threes and par fives, and guys who don't make bogeys. Sure, if you're good off the tee, that's going to be a plus. That's why my model is guys like Minwoo Lee, Rory McIlroy, Alex Smalley, Jacob Bridgman, guys who are great at all three things. Bridgman doesn't quite have the length as a Rory McIlroy and a Minwoo, but
Yeah.
that's why Minwoo's first and Rory McIlroy second.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I also think that there's a lot of guys that are from that area, went to school in that area, and these are the type of tournaments where you see their names up on the leaderboard. They don't always hold on, but someone that you'll see in my picks, for example, like a Hostler, right?
Yeah.
No real form to speak of, but for some reason we get to Texas and he just tends to do well there, the Valero, etc. So there'll be some consistencies similar to last week. I also have a couple guys that they're just value picks because again, they don't have the best form, but they're the type of guys where if they start well, they'll drop like crazy, and if they just happen to win, their odds are never going to be that high again. For the
Yep.
over the course of this year.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I'm just kind of asking myself, am I going to keep chasing Alex Smalley? I feel like I've been chasing him for so long. And now this is the first time that he's really, really high in my model. And one of the best prices that we're getting on him at 55 to 1. Right now, let's talk about this. Scottie Scheffler, in some books, 30 to 1, 3.5 to 1. Rory McIlroy, around 6.5 to 1. The two massive favorites. And then it's a massive drop to Aaron Rai. I
Yeah.
still don't know if I can quite get to Aaron Rai at plus 2,500. I feel like his 2,800, 3,000 is like my cutoff for him. Looks like DT Davis Thompson took some money
Yep.
down to 33. JJ Spawn was this third ranked guy, but now he's up to 33. Is there an outright or two that you like this week?
I mean, it's kind of hard to fade Rory given his form, given how he's played, and to think that he's over 2x the odds of Scottie,
Yep.
who, all respect to Scottie, obviously we all have long memories apparently when we have Scottie in the field, but at 3 to 1 given his form, given his results this year, I just don't see how Rory is twice the value to a Scottie. So again, as I always do, I'll never touch Scottie at those odds. But it's one of those weeks where, hey, do I diversify the portfolio? Do I pick a few guys and hope they're there on Sunday? Or do I just load up on Rory? Because at the end of the day, his odds will not fluctuate too
Yep.
much unless he goes out and just stinks day one. But, like I said, that guy's going to have respect throughout the bag, throughout the tournament. So as long as he's within striking distance, you're not going to lose too much value, getting him pre-tournament.
Yeah, no, that's like on Sunday I had texted my Discord and I was like, it's hard not to love Rory this week. And what I said something along the lines like, I'm terrified of Rory this week, right? At max, I'll bet 3 or 4 golfers if I'm not betting Rory. I predicted his odds would be plus 750 and it's lower than that. So I may just go one golfer and then add on Rory, or
Yeah.
just go one golfer throughout the whole tournament and just hope I can find somebody live. I think this is a tournament too for me where I'm okay not spraying the board if I really am terrified of a short shot, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about finding the most value, but also like not losing money,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not a big believer in a ton of guys, especially the ton of guys at the top of my model, right? Like I already said it, like I want to bet Alex Smalley eventually, but is this where he gets it done? I don't know, right? Like Jacob Bridgman, is he long enough to compete off the tee? I don't know. Then you
Yeah.
have a guy like Sungjae who, I mean, I just don't see Sungjae's game being there quite yet.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, do we just take Rory, just take the top two off the model? We'll see. But I will go with one guy who I did bet already. It'll be him and probably Roy, or him and I might spread the board. We'll see. But that's Mr. Min Woo Lee. Listen, he didn't play well off the tee at the last 2 events, right? API and TPC, lost strokes, both places. However, those are 2 really tough places to be off the tee, especially with the wind that came in at both courses. He's a guy who's a gainer throughout the entire bag,
Hmm.
generally, right? Like, if you even look at it, I think a under appreciated or an under discussed benefit of his game is he's a really good putter. Top 10 strokes gained putting over the last 36 rounds, which is really nice. He's really good with his wedges, really good at scrambling. I think the less penal rough and lack of fairway bunkers, lack of water hazards makes Minwoo a really appetizing option.
Yeah, no, I like him. And I just want to touch on what you said, and you said it so well, especially coming off a great week last week. The last thing you want to do going into this week is give a lot of that back,
Yep.
right? Like you almost want to protect the bankroll that you've built after a big week. And what's nice about golf is you do have the ability to live bet, right? You don't need to
Yes.
blow that balance pre-tournament and like, hey, did I make the right pick? You don't need to do that. If you go into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Scottie and Rory are not relevant, I don't see that. I think they'll be there. But hypothetically, if they're not relevant, then you can start getting on guys. But for me, where I see the most value, and this is based on history, course history,
Yep.
it's also based on form this year, and that is Thomas Dietrich for me. You can get him anywhere between plus 5,000 to plus 6,000 right now, depending on the book. For those of you who followed last year, he was winning with 6 holes to play.
Yep.
Um, and he made a terrible 3-putt bogey. I think it was on 14 or 15 after a really great up and down on the previous hole. But let's look at where he's come since then, right? He was a guy that could never get it done. He proved this year at Waste Management when everybody thought he'd crumble going into the final round. What did he win by 5, by 4,
Yep.
by 5? And he looked amazing. And he's going in there with good vibes. He's got great form. He's amazing off the tee. His iron game is strong. And again, he proved that he can get it done. So I really like that value. I already have him. I could see him dropping a little bit, especially if he's an early tee time. I'll be seeing that this afternoon. If he's an early tee time Thursday, I like the early late wave. I expect that to drop a little bit.
Yeah, I really like Thomas Dietrich. And what's funny is like when you look at guys who've performed well here, Dietrich is kind of opposite of a lot of the guys in this field because he picked up a win this season, right? Like a lot of guys haven't picked up wins this season. Like Tony Finau's a name that pops up instantly. Hasn't got a win this season. Better price than Tony Finau. Aaron Rye played well this tournament. Didn't get a win so far this season. Worst price. I really like the value on that. Do you have another golfer for us?
I do. So I mentioned him. I think his price is fair. He's from Texas. He went to the University of Texas, and that's Bo Hostler. You can get him in
Okay.
the 100 to 1 range. I think that he tends to pop up. If you don't go on him for winner, I think he's worth a little sprinkle on first round. Again, with a morning tee time, he
Yeah.
tends to go low, and if he gets hot with that putter. But I would say that's secondary. The other one I'm going to give away, it's an absolute flyer, and I think it's the highest I've seen his odds since he officially became a tour member, and that's Thorb Bornson. You can
Nice.
get him at 200 to 1. And this is a kid that can bomb it. I was just at the Valspar on Friday and actually followed his group for a little bit. Him and he was the kids group.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to clean things up, right? I think he has significant potential, and he has scared some leaderboards over the last 12 months, and it tends to be in fields like this, right? If you remove Rory and you remove Scottie, it's not the strongest field.
Yep.
And I think at 200 to 1, I think that's pretty good value for a guy who came out of college with a ton of potential.
Yeah, really good value there. Let's move over to the placement market and go ahead and give me a placement golfer that you like.
I never thought that I would ever have this guy on my radar, but more and more every week, he just seems to be there, and that's Max McGreevy. For him to place top 20, no dead heat, it's plus 325. And I can, is he the top 20 golfer in this field? Maybe not. Is he going to win? Probably not. But he is a guy that tends to go low. And if he's not around the lead, he'll work his way up, on Saturday
Yep.
and Sunday to post that, maybe final round 64 and sneak in top 20. But when I saw that number, I thought based on his form, he's been playing in the signature events, he's been playing in good fields, and he's still been there. You've seen his name on leaderboards. Now we take a lot of those big names out, those stars out, and we replace that with a bunch of guys that really have no chance at this tournament. I think that's some pretty decent value for a top 20 no dead heat at plus 325.
Yeah, I can get down with that. I'm going with Jacob Bridgman, top 20 plus 180. Played well last week in contention,
Yep,
but he does a lot of things well, right? Hits fairways, really, really good putter, really good on par fives, which you're going to need that par five prowess there.
yep,
And I think the belief is there, right? Now
yep,
he's been scaring leaderboards. Been in contention. He's been up close to the top at plus 180. I don't know if I could quite get to the window and betting him outright, but at plus 180, that's a price that I lock that in.
yep.
Sometimes when I do my research, I write down guys' names. Then I say, what am I going to do? How am I going to bet him? He was outright maybe, placement definitely. I could even get down when his top 40 price comes out at like minus 110. I would still play that.
Yeah, and he's that guy where if he was there on Sunday, I would not be surprised,
Yep.
right? Like he at the Cognizant, he went crazy on Sunday, put his name in the mix. Obviously, things changed, and Highsmith went crazy to finish that round. But yeah, he's been there. His putting from 10 to 17 feet is almost Jordan Spieth like, right? Like back from
Yep.
2015, he is amazing from that distance. He needs to clean up the shorties, right? Like on Sunday at Valspar, he three putted from 3 feet on four, killed him. He lost by two, right? Like
Yep.
little things like that. He needs to clean those up, and if he does, I think he can be there on Sunday. So I like that placement.
Yeah, let's talk about the first round leader market. And you know, I know we're gonna be on the same guy, and I think it's hard not to be on Mr. Jaegerbaum here at this course. He won last year, but the dude has just been scaring first round leader in like every single tournament.
Yep.
I think his ability here to just go out there and let the driver fly in a place where he has a ton of confidence, I think at this price, like it's a no brainer.
You're like me. I think I try to avoid going with guys who are defending
Yeah.
because, like you've said, you've made really good points of this in the past. More interviews, more press conferences, more attention, less focus on practice and your normal routine kind of takes you away from that. But you're 100% right. He did it last week. Granted, he chipped in from bunker and caught a -4 lead, but
Yep.
he was there early, right? And
Yeah,
he
he
kind of
was.
stumbled a little bit to get back to -4. But the previous week at the Players, he was there again, right? He loves to start fast. I will say, wait for the tee times because he is one of those guys that goes early when he plays early.
Yep.
But plus 5,500, I think that's insane value for a guy who's doing it more than anybody else. So before you said it, before you posted it, I had him on my list as well. But just to give another one, it's another first round leader guy who tends to always be there, and that's Mr. Aaron Rye.
Yeah.
Loves to go low early as well. Makes a ton of birdies. He's not going to put himself in trouble. His bogey avoidance is great. Solid off the tee, solid iron, solid putter. I think you're probably going to need. You tend to go pretty low in this tournament. Maybe -7, -8 outright.
Yep.
Maybe -7, -6 gets you a share. But again, in first round leader, you're just trying to catch a piece. So even if he, pushes, he ties, and you get 50%, I would take that too.
Yeah, Aaron Rye is always going to be scaring the first round leader at a course like this too, right? A course that demands, I don't want to say like excellence, but like precision.
Yeah.
He's a very precise golfer when it comes to picking his targets, hitting the fairway, and so on and so forth. This is a shorter episode. Your boy's under weather, just trying to get this money, this bag. But I appreciate everyone who's listening. If you were listening in podcast form, make sure you rate and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell. Let you know when we drop a new episode. Chris, go enjoy a beautiful round of golf, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Feel better, and let's make some money this week.
Take it easy.